My beloved child, do not be afraid when the eyes within your soul begin to recognize the things you once overlooked. At times, you may think that this awakening is a burden, because it causes you to see the instability behind a smile, the calculation hidden beneath sweet words, and the paths that seem wide open, yet are covered with a dangerous mist. But I say to you, what I allow you to see is not meant to make you live in suspicion, but to help you walk in wisdom. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. And wherever that light shines, you do not need to tremble before what is exposed there. Darkness is only frightening while it remains concealed. Once I have shone my lamp upon it, it no longer has the power to use surprise to make you stumble. Therefore, be at peace. Discernment is not a curse, but armor that I place upon you in this new season. There are people who come near you with gentle words, yet your soul feels heavy. There are places that appear favorable on the outside, yet within you, you hear a soft prompting that says, do not step in too quickly. There are promises that sound very beautiful, yet the peace within you does not agree. Do not take those holy signals lightly. I am not teaching you to judge through bitterness, but I am teaching you to discern through purity. As it is written, beloved, do not believe every spirit, but test the spirits, whether they are of God. 1 John 4, 1. You do not have to open the door to every knock just because you are afraid of displeasing others. Nor do you need to shut your heart completely because you have once been wounded. I will teach you to recognize the difference between a door I have opened and a trap decorated with pleasant words and beautiful ideas. Remember, my child, spiritual sight does not operate through noise. It is like the dawn quietly spreading over the earth, needing no shout and yet causing everything to reveal its form. When I purify your vision, you will no longer be drawn away by a polished appearance. You will see what carries life and what only carries form, what bears the fragrance of truth and what is merely a beautiful vessel yet empty within. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6, 22. Therefore, what I am doing is not only helping you see others more clearly, I am also making your inner being brighter. When your heart is full of light, you will no longer choose from fear, loneliness, or lack, but from the fullness you have in me. I know there are times when you grow weary because you can no longer pretend that you do not see. You have once wished things could be simpler, wished you could feel less, wished you did not have to notice the subtle movements in the atmosphere around you. But, my beloved child, one who is called to step into maturity cannot forever live with the innocent eyes of a former season. Innocence may be beautiful, but wisdom protects the precious thing I have placed within you. When wisdom enters your heart, and knowledge is pleasant to your soul. Proverbs 2:10. I am not making you hard-hearted, I am making you watchful, yet gentle, discerning, yet compassionate, able to walk away from what is toxic without needing to hate, able to keep distance without losing love. Look again at the story of Elisha and his servant. When the enemy army surrounded the city, the servant saw only danger and fear. But Elisha did not see with eyes limited by the earth. He prayed, Lord, I pray, open his eyes that he may see. 2 Kings 6:17. And when the servant's eyes were opened, he saw the mountain full of horses and chariots of fire all around Elisha. Do you see? I open eyes not only so you may see the enemy, but also so you may see the protection that is greater than the enemy. I allow you to recognize danger, but I also want you to recognize that my army is standing around you. If you only see what is wrong and forget to see my presence, you will become weary. But when you see both the danger and the covering, you will walk with holy calmness. Therefore, When a truth is revealed, do not rush into panic. Bring it before me. When you sense that something is not right, do not immediately condemn, and do not quickly deny that feeling either. Be still, ask, listen, and allow my peace to act as the judge within your heart. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives to all liberally. James 1:5. I do not want you to live by blind suspicion. I want you to live by clear guidance. Some things I will confirm through words. Some things I will confirm through circumstances. And some things I will confirm through a deep peace that no one can counterfeit. My beloved child, the light within you will make some people uncomfortable, not because you have done anything wrong, but because truth always has the power to expose. Some will avoid your gaze because they do not want to be seen in truth. Some will no longer be able to continue playing their old role before you, because the presence I have placed within you makes the mask grow heavy. But do not take this as a reason for pride. Vision is not given so that you may consider yourself higher than others, but so that you may walk in deeper humility. All things are naked and open to the eyes of him to whom we must give account. Hebrews 4:13. If I allow you to see, it is so that you may pray more rightly, choose more wisely, and guard your heart from bonds that do not belong to me. Then the time will come when you understand that discernment does not take away your softness. It only removes the gullibility that once wounded you. You can still love, but you do not need to hand the keys of your heart to everyone. You can still forgive, but you do not need to return to the place from which I have pulled you out. You can still hope, but you do not need to ignore the warning voice of the Holy Spirit. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Whenever you turn to the right hand or whenever you turn to the left, Isaiah 30:21. That voice will not always thunder. Many times it will be gentle like a breath, yet enough to keep you from going astray. Therefore, receive this season in which your eyes are being opened with gratitude. I do not leave you in a world full of mixture without giving you light. I do not call you into destiny while leaving you blind to the things that would pull you off course. From now on, walk more slowly when needed. Speak less when your soul is not yet at peace. And pray more deeply when something remains unclear. I am with you in every moment of recognition. I will not allow you to be enticed by darkness covered in gold. Nor will I allow you to close your heart to true light simply because you were once deceived. Trust me, my beloved child, my eyes are upon you, and the light I am placing within you will lead you through this season with steadfastness, purity, and peace. My beloved child, when the mist is lifted from the eyes of your soul, the first thing you feel may not be relief, but overwhelm. I know this. I know that sudden brightness can sometimes make you narrow your eyes, like one who has stayed long in a dark room and is now let out before the dawn. But, my child, do not mistake that trembling as a sign that you are walking the wrong way. There are times when grace does not come like a gentle hand softly caressing you, but like a powerful beam of light shining into the places you once did not dare to look. God is light, and in him is no darkness at all. 1 John 1:5. So when I bring you closer to the light, whatever does not belong to truth will begin to appear, not to make you afraid, not to make you suspicious of everyone, but so that you no longer have to live under the power of hidden things. I see your heartache when a familiar face suddenly no longer looks like the image you once held in your heart. I see the silence that falls within you when you realize that a word you once trusted did not carry the purity you believed it had. I also see the quiet sorrow when you realize that some people you love still stand in a place very different from what you had hoped. But, my child, truth hurts for a moment, while illusion hurts for many seasons. I did not awaken you in order to break you. I awakened you so that you would no longer continue embracing shadows and calling them shelter. As it is written, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. John 8:32. Truth does not come as an enemy of your heart. Truth comes as the key that opens the prison door you had grown so accustomed to that you thought it was home. Therefore, when you begin to recognize distortion in an atmosphere, unrest in an invitation, or dishonesty behind a kind appearance, do not be quick to condemn yourself as though you are judging. Judgment comes from pride and bitterness, while discernment comes from watchfulness and holy peace. I am not teaching you to look at others with a harsh gaze. I am teaching you to see all things with eyes that have been washed in my light. He who is spiritual judges all things. 1 Corinthians 2:15. Meaning that such a person does not allow appearances to lead him, nor does he allow old emotions to cloud the voice of the Holy Spirit. You do not need to announce everything you see. There are things I allow you to recognize not so that you may speak them out, but so that you may pray. Keep distance, choose the right rhythm, and protect what I have placed within your heart. Remember Hagar in the wilderness, when she was exhausted, desperate, and thought her child would die because there was no water left. She wept in helplessness, but I heard the voice of the child and sent an angel to speak to her. Then Scripture says, God opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. Genesis 21:19. Do you see? The well had already been there, but in her pain and fear, her eyes had not seen it. When I open your eyes, I do not only show you what is dangerous, I also show you the source of life that you once missed. I do not only expose what is false, I also show you the way out. I do not only allow you to recognize those who are not sincere, I also prepare purer connections for you. My revelation always comes with my care. If I show you the wilderness, I will also show you the well. Perhaps you are grieving because you have to release an old belief, an old image, or an attachment you once thought would walk with you for a long time. But my child, there are things that seem precious while they remain unclear. Yet when light shines upon them, they reveal that they do not have the strength to uphold your soul. Do not mourn illusions simply because they once made you feel less alone. I am leading you out of cracked vessels and bringing you to the fountain of living water. My people have committed two evils. They have forsaken me, the fountain of living waters, and hewn themselves cisterns, broken cisterns that can hold no water. Jeremiah 2:13. I do not want you to keep drinking from a place that makes you thirstier. I want you to return to the pure stream, where truth does not dry you up, but restores you. Do not let awakening become a burden. My beloved child, when your eyes become brighter, you do not need to carry everything you see on your shoulders, as though you must fix the whole world. There are things I allow you to see simply so you will know not to step into them. There are things I allow you to feel simply so you will stop before it is too late. There are motives I expose simply so you will not give your heart to a place that does not know how to guard it. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding your heart does not mean closing your heart in fear. Guarding your heart means knowing what is worthy to enter the hidden depths, what should only be entrusted to prayer, and what must be placed back at my feet before you walk away in peace. I also want you to understand that when a person or a situation is revealed, your first task is not to react, but to return to me. Let me interpret what you see. Sometimes you have only seen a small piece, while I see the entire tapestry. Sometimes what you sense is a warning to stay away. Sometimes it is an invitation to intercede. Sometimes it is a reminder that you yourself still need healing from the habit of trusting appearances. Therefore, slow down in the light, be still, and know that I am God, Psalm 46:10. Mature discernment is not hurried, not noisy, and does not boast about knowing much. It is quiet, like a watchman guarding a city, alert but not panicked, steadfast but not hardened. There will be days when the eyes of your soul are opened wider, and you will hear many things moving within your heart at once. An old memory may rise up and call you back to the place that once wounded you. An old fear may whisper that you will be abandoned again. A wound not yet fully healed may try to interpret the present through the darkness of the past. But my child, not every voice that echoes within you is my voice. I want you to learn how to recognize the fragrance of my voice among those mingled sounds. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. My voice may be firm, but it is not cruel. My voice may correct, but it does not humiliate. My voice may tell you to stop, but it does not push you into panic. My voice always carries light, so that even when you do not yet know everything, you still know how to keep walking in peace. Do not confuse pressure with guidance. The things that come from fear often force you to decide immediately in the midst of confusion, to speak before your heart is at peace, to run before you have prayed and asked. But the wisdom from above is different. The wisdom that is from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. If a voice causes you to become bitter, withdrawn, chaotic, or endlessly self-condemning, bring it before my light. If an emotion makes you want to tear everything down in a single moment, remain with me for one more breath. I do not lead you through the storm of urgency. I lead you through deep certainty, like a quiet stream that still has enough strength to smooth the stones over time. Remember Samuel when he was still a child in the temple. At night, he heard a voice calling his name, but at first he did not recognize that it was my voice. He ran to Eli, thinking that Eli was calling him. Once, then twice, then 3 times, until Eli understood that I was the one awakening that child. Then Samuel was taught to say, "Speak, for your servant hears." 1 Samuel 3:10. Do you see? Even the one who is called must learn to distinguish the true voice. Samuel's immaturity did not cause me to leave him. I patiently called until he knew how to answer the right source. In the same way, I do not condemn you for the times when you have confused my voice with the voice of pain. I am training your ear. I am making your soul more sensitive, so that you will no longer run everywhere simply because you hear a familiar sound, but will know how to return to me, where the true calling begins. On that journey, you will recognize that my voice does not make you smaller. I may point out what needs to be corrected, but I do not crush your dignity. I may clearly reveal a wrong path, but I do not call you a failure. I may close a door, but I do not leave you feeling abandoned in a dark hallway. God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind. 2 Timothy 1:7. Therefore, if a voice only sows terror within you, making you bow your head in shame without leading you into repentance filled with hope, then know that this is not the way I lift up my children. I correct in order to restore, not to destroy. I warn in order to protect, not to imprison. The season of revelation is not a place where you stand forever on the shore, watching the water flow by and fearing that your feet may get wet. I open your eyes so that you may walk more rightly, not so that you may become paralyzed in analysis. There are things I show you so that you may leave. There are things I help you understand so that you may forgive but not return. There are things I make clear so that you may receive the new portion without being bound at the feet by old cords. When you hear the right voice, the fog begins to withdraw. What once made you hesitate will lose its power to control you. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are sons of God. Romans 8:14. The one who is led does not need to understand the entire map all at once. That one only needs to recognize the hand that is holding them. And I am holding you, not loosely, not from afar, and not with hesitation. Therefore, my beloved child, do not call this season a season of retreat simply because you are being purified more deeply. Do not call it delay simply because I am teaching you to listen more carefully before you step forward more powerfully. What I am doing is bringing you into a higher realm of living where you no longer react according to wounds, no longer choose according to lack, and no longer allow darkness to use old voices to pull you away from the path of light. The humble he guides in justice, and the humble he teaches his way. Psalm 25:9. Keep your heart humble, because the more clearly you see, the more you need to remain close to me. Keep your softness, because the better you discern, the more you need to love with purity. Keep your ears in peace, because it is there that you will recognize my word among every noise. Now I call you to stand upright in the light that has been given, not upright in pride, but in the steadfastness of one who knows they no longer belong to the old cycles. You were not created to keep walking around the same mountain forever. Your eyes were not opened merely so you could keep looking back. You were awakened to enter the land I have prepared, with clarity in your eyes, peace in your heart, and my voice as the rhythm guiding you from within. When I speak, you will know. When I restrain, you will stop. When I open, you will step forward. And when I call you higher, you will no longer bow down to listen to the voices that once imprisoned you. Go, my beloved child, for this is the season for you to take hold of what I have written over your life, to enter it with wisdom, courage, and the pure faith that the one who called you is also the one who will keep you to the very end. My beloved child, let this truth sink deeply, not only into your thoughts, but into every breath and every quiet place within your heart. You were not created to spend your whole life trying to prove that you are worthy. I knew you before you knew yourself. I called your name before you could do anything to impress anyone. Before I formed you in the womb, I knew you. Jeremiah 1:5. And therefore, your worth does not begin with human recognition, nor does it end when someone fails to understand you. You do not need to shrink yourself to fit the narrow mold that fear, the past, or the judgments of others once placed upon you. You do not have to dim yourself so that others may feel comfortable. The light I have placed within you was not meant to be hidden under a basket, but to be set upon a lampstand. As my Son has spoken, let your light so shine before men. Matthew 5:16. When you enter a place, you do not enter as one begging to be accepted. You enter as one being kept by me, sent by me, and covered with a peace that does not belong to this world. There were seasons before when you lived as though you had to read the faces of others in order to know whether you were allowed to be present. You learned to stay silent when you needed to speak, to shrink your dreams when you needed to stand upright, and to blend into the atmosphere around you just to avoid conflict. But my child, true peace does not come from pleasing everyone. True peace comes from being in the exact place where I have set you. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give to you. Not as the world gives do I give to you. John 14:27. My peace does not require you to lose yourself in order to maintain a false appearance of calm. My peace makes you steady in rooms filled with pressure, in conversations full of emotion, and under the gaze of eyes that do not know how to see you in truth. From now on, you do not need to bow your head before the insecurity of others. You can be gentle without being weak, humble without erasing yourself, loving without allowing your soul to be controlled. I want you to understand that the vision I am opening within you is not only so you may recognize danger, but also so you may build the future upon a different foundation. In the past, you may have asked, what if I fail? What if I am rejected? What if I take the wrong step? But now, the deeper question is not what fear is saying, but where I am leading you. The Lord, He is the one who goes before you. He will be with you. He will not leave you nor forsake you. Do not fear nor be dismayed. Deuteronomy 31:8. When you know that I go before you, the future is no longer a dark territory threatening you, but a field waiting for the footsteps of obedience. You do not need to hold every piece of evidence in your hands before you believe. You only need to know whose hand is leading you. And my hand does not tremble, does not make mistakes, and does not abandon what I have begun in your life. Remember Gideon, my child, when my angel came to him. He was not standing on the battlefield in the posture of a hero. He was threshing wheat in the winepress because he feared the Midianites. He saw himself through the threat of his circumstances, through the smallness of his family, and through the helplessness that had weighed heavily upon the people. But I did not call him according to his fear. I called him according to what I had placed within him. The Lord is with you, you mighty man of valor. Judges 6:12. Do you see? I did not wait for Gideon to feel strong before calling him strong. I spoke his identity first, then led him into the truth of that identity. In the same way, you do not need to wait until you no longer tremble before you step forward. You do not need to wait until everyone agrees before you obey. I call you by the name heaven knows, not by the name fear has given you. Therefore, when you stand among family, among longtime friends, or in a workplace filled with quiet pressures, remember that you no longer live like a leaf blown about by the emotional winds of others. You carry within you a different atmosphere, not one you have created by yourself, but one I have poured out upon you. The kingdom of God is not eating and drinking, but righteousness and peace and joy in the Holy Spirit. Romans 14:17. Wherever you go in obedience, that place can be touched by the peace you carry. It is not that you must speak much, nor that you must fix everyone. Sometimes it is enough that you do not react according to the old patterns, that you do not take on a story that does not belong to you, that you do not allow the chaos of others to become the law that governs your heart. Then the light has already begun its work. A healed presence carries more power than many explanations. I no longer want you to love from a place of lack. I do not want you to serve in the hope of being recognized, to sacrifice in order to be kept, or to give quietly while hoping that someone will finally see your worth. You will love from the place where I have filled you, serve from the place where I have set you free, and build from the place where you know you belong to me. For by grace you have been saved through faith. For we are His workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works. Ephesians 2:8-10. You do not do good works in order to become my child. You do them because you already are my child. You do not live holy in order to purchase love. You live in the light because love has touched you first. When the source within you changes, everything you do carries a different fragrance. What I have placed within you was not given so that you would have to sustain yourself alone. Any gift that departs from my presence can become a burden. But a gift placed within my arms will become a pure stream leading you into peace. When you see too much, come to me before you try to interpret everything. When your heart is restless and you do not know why, sit beneath my shadow before rushing to conclusions. When you sense that something is out of alignment with truth, do not let your mind run in 100 directions. Let your soul return to the place of rest. Come to me. all you who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. I am not only the one who opens your eyes, I am also the place where those eyes find rest. I do not only give you recognition, I also give you balance, so that you will not be drained by that very recognition. You do not need to hold everything you see within your heart. Some things only need to be laid down at my feet, and then you must allow me to handle them according to eternal wisdom. Remember that spiritual sensitivity is not an invitation for you to become isolated. Darkness often wants to turn a gift into loneliness, making you think that no one understands you, that you must carry every signal, every warning, every hidden thing exposed before your eyes by yourself. But I say to you, what I reveal is always meant to draw you closer to me. Call to me, and I will answer you, and show you great and mighty things, which you do not know. Jeremiah 33:3. If I allow you to see something you do not yet understand, then I also invite you to ask me about it. If I allow you to feel a certain unrest, then I am also ready to show you how to walk in peace. You are not a watchman on the city wall in the night without a master. I am the one standing with you upon the wall, the one who knows who is coming from afar, who knows which voice is true, which door must be opened, and which door must be closed to keep you from harm. At times, you think you are tired because you are fighting, but deeper than that, you are tired because you have tried to understand the hearts of people by your own strength for too long. You listen, you observe, you analyze, you blame yourself, and then you wonder again whether you are being too sensitive. But my child, I did not call you to discern so that you would be trapped in the cycle of speculation. I called you to discern so that you would know how to bring all things before me. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and minds. Philippians 4:7. Do you see? I did not say that you would understand everything before you had peace. I said that my peace can guard you beyond even what you do not yet understand. When something is revealed and you do not yet know what to do with it, do not quickly turn it into a verdict. Let it become an invitation to prayer. There are things you recognize not so that you may confront them immediately, but so that you may step back, guard your heart, wait for the right time, and walk according to my clear guidance. I also open your eyes so that you may recognize which path truly belongs to you. Not every door that shines before you is a door I have opened. Not every invitation that sounds beautiful carries my seal. Not every familiar connection is allowed to continue with you into the new season. There were places you once wanted to enter because they promised recognition, but I stopped you because behind them was exhaustion. There were people you once tried to keep because you were afraid of losing what was familiar, but I exposed their motives so that you would no longer mistake chains for attachment. There is a way that seems right to a man, but its end is the way of death. Proverbs 14:12. I do not close doors to punish you. I close doors to protect the seed of destiny within you. I do not take away in order to make you poorer. I separate you from what is wrong so that you will still have enough strength to receive what is right. Look at Paul and those who traveled with him in the book of Acts. They wanted to preach the word in Asia, but the Holy Spirit did not permit them. They tried to go into Bithynia, but the Spirit of Jesus did not allow them. If seen only through natural eyes, a blocked door can look like failure. A hindered plan can make the human heart confused. But then, in the night, Paul saw a vision of a Macedonian man standing and pleading for help. And from there, the true path was opened. Acts 16:6-10. Do you see? My hindrance is often my map. I do not guide only through open doors. I also guide through closed doors. Sometimes what you call delay is actually a holy redirection. Sometimes what you call a lost opportunity is actually me pulling you away from a journey that would bear no fruit. If you learn to trust me, both in the invitation and in the restraint. You will no longer panic when a beautiful path suddenly no longer carries peace. Therefore, do not see the times when I clarify motives, environments, or connections as limitations upon your life. Revelation is a lamp placed along the road, so that you no longer have to walk by vague emotions. In the past, you may have followed the place that made you feel needed, even though that place drained you. You may have stayed with what wounded you simply because it was familiar. You may have chosen according to the voice of lack, then later wondered why you kept returning to the same sorrow. But today, I am teaching you another way to live. If the Son makes you free, you shall be free indeed. John 8:36. Freedom is not only leaving behind what is clearly binding, freedom is also no longer being attracted to things that are beautifully decorated, yet still lead you back into old cycles. When you see clearly, you do not lose your softness. You simply become less easily deceived. When you recognize rightly, you do not become cold. You become more faithful to what I have entrusted to your life. In the days ahead, learn to live more slowly under my guidance. Do not rush to explain every feeling so that others may understand. Do not force yourself to prove why you stopped, why you no longer open your heart as before, or why you chose a more peaceful path even when few approve. There are acts of obedience that only need to be understood between you and me. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way. Walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. That voice will lead you through invitations that do not belong to you, through rooms that are not meant for you, through relationships that cannot walk with you into the new depth. And each time you obey that guidance, you will feel your heart become lighter, not because everything outside has become easy, but because within you, you are no longer betraying the truth I have shown you. I want you to learn to honor the peace within you more than the noise around you. There are invitations that make others admire you, yet leave your soul dry. There are connections that bring you attention, yet quietly drain away your purity. There are paths that look as though they will lift you higher, but in truth only lead you farther from my voice. Do not be afraid of being misunderstood when you choose what is quiet instead of what is prominent. Do not be afraid of being called someone who missed out when you are actually obeying. Nehemiah also once faced what seemed like an ordinary invitation from those who wanted to harm him. But he answered, "I am doing a great work, so that I cannot come down." Nehemiah 6:3. Do you see? One who knows what he is building will not easily be pulled down from the wall entrusted to him. When I place a holy work within you, not every meeting is worth leaving your position for. Not every call is a call from me. Not every urgency carries the seal of heaven. There will also be nights when your heart feels heavy because of someone you love. You may not see with natural eyes what is happening, but your soul senses a trembling, a contrary wind, an invisible pressure surrounding them. In that moment, do not let your restlessness turn into useless anxiety. Turn it into the fragrance of intercession rising before me. Be anxious for nothing, but in everything, by prayer and supplication, with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God. Philippians 4:6. For there are battles you are not called to enter with words, but are called to stand in the secret place by faith. Your tears in the private room do not fall to the ground as meaningless things. I gather every drop, and in my hands, they become a quiet stream, watering places you cannot reach. There are gardens in the hearts of others that will bloom after a dry season, not because they know how long you prayed, but because I heard your whisper in the night. My child, do not despise small prayers of intercession. In the eyes of man, a person kneeling in silence may seem to be doing nothing great, but in the spiritual realm, that trust has power to move unseen doors. Remember Moses when the children of Israel fought against Amalek. When his hands were lifted up, the people prevailed. When his hands came down, they weakened. Aaron and Hur had to support his hands until evening, and the victory was sustained. Exodus 17:11-12. Do you see? Sometimes the one standing on the mountain in intercession is also taking part in the victory in the valley below. When you are weak, do not think your prayer becomes weak as well. I have spoken, my grace is sufficient for you, for my strength is made perfect in weakness. 2 Corinthians 12:9. Precisely where you no longer rely on your own strength. My power has room to be revealed in its purest way. I also bless your eyes, not so that you may look at people with severity, but so that you may recognize what needs to be loved, what needs to be avoided, and what needs to be entrusted to me. When your sight is sanctified, deception will no longer be able to hide easily before you, but neither will you become someone who delights in exposing others in order to lift yourself up. I want your pupils to carry light, while your heart still keeps mercy. The lamp of the body is the eye. If therefore your eye is good, your whole body will be full of light. Matthew 6:22. True light does not only expose darkness, true light also causes what is sincere to blossom boldly. Your presence, when it remains in me, will make those who live in honesty feel encouraged, while what is false will find itself no longer comfortable. This is not because you are trying to create influence. It is the mark of the light that is living within you. I also bless your heart, so that it will not turn to stone simply because it has seen many difficult things. There are truths that, when revealed, can make the human heart become dry and barren. But I will not allow you to walk in discernment while losing mercy. Keep your heart with all diligence, for out of it spring the issues of life. Proverbs 4:23. Guarding your heart does not mean locking it away in coldness. Guarding your heart means keeping it near my fountain. Soft, but not fragile. Gentle, but not easily invaded. Able to love without offering itself to the things that destroy. You will learn how to love rightly, which means loving with truth and not with gullibility. You will learn how to avoid rightly, which means leaving what is toxic without needing to hate. You will learn how to stand rightly, which means remaining firm in what I have spoken, without needing to wound anyone in order to prove that you are strong. Therefore, put on the armor I give, but do not lose the cloak of gentleness. Put on the whole armor of God, that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. Ephesians 6:11. But remember that my armor does not turn you into someone hard and unfeeling. It protects you from poisoned arrows, from false invitations, from subtle manipulation, from stories that no longer belong to your destiny. And the cloak of kindness reminds you that softness is not failure. Meekness is not weakness, and a heart that knows mercy can still have holy boundaries. You do not need to choose between strength and gentleness. In me, you can be both, firm as a fortress, yet still fragrant like a garden after the rain. One day, when you look back on this journey, I want you to see not only the things you were able to avoid, but also the things you were able to preserve. You will see the times you did not step into a beautiful trap. You will see the nights when you interceded instead of panicking. You will see the moments when you were silent at the right time, walked away at the right time, spoke words of love at the right time, and stood firm in the right place. Those footprints will not look like the marks of someone being dragged along in exhaustion. They will be like a quiet trail of stars stretching through the valley, marking every time you chose light instead of illusion. The path of the righteous is like the shining sun that shines ever brighter unto the perfect day. Proverbs 4:18. Keep going, my beloved child. I am the unfailing light upon your path, the shade at your right hand, the voice calling before you. and the peace within you. When you know how to love rightly, avoid rightly, and stand rightly, you will live the full length of your days, not under the rule of fear, but in the gentle radiance of my presence. My beloved child, hear this with your whole soul. This is not a season in which I awaken you only to leave you sitting by the roadside. I did not open your eyes merely so you could look at hidden things, nor did I open your ears merely so you could hear and then hesitate. I make all things clear so that you may walk in steadfastness. Because vision is not given to be hung on the wall like a beautiful painting, but to become the road beneath the feet of the obedient. Arise and depart. For this is not your rest. Micah 2:10. There are places that once held you in familiarity, but can no longer contain what I am placing within you. There are rhythms of life that once made you feel safe, but now have become only an old garment, too tight around your shoulders. Therefore, do not return to the place of dimness simply because the light requires courage of you. The light I give is not meant to expose you to fear, but to lead you into the land that has carried your name in my eternal purpose. Every step you take in obedience carries weight before heaven. Do not underestimate a small decision when it is born from my peace. Do not take lightly the time you refuse what does not belong to you, the time you keep silent instead of reacting, the time you choose the cleaner path even when few understand it. The steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord, and he delights in his way. Psalm 37:23. You may think you are simply walking through an ordinary day, but in the unseen realm, milestones are being raised. Every time you hear my voice rightly, you are not only avoiding a wrong turn, you are signing your name by faith upon the vision I have written. Every time you walk away from a trap covered in brilliance, you are protecting the trajectory I have marked out for your life. And every time you stretch out your hand to lift a soul sinking deep in darkness, you are not only helping one person stand, you are causing the light to advance one step farther in a land once occupied by fear. Remember the story of the people of Israel, standing before the Jordan River. The waters were overflowing their banks. The season was not convenient. The circumstance was not easy. And if one looked only with natural eyes, no one could have called it the right time to cross over. But I commanded the priests carrying the Ark of the Covenant to step down first. And Scripture records that as soon as the soles of their feet touched the edge of the water, the river stopped, and the people crossed over on dry ground. Joshua 3:15-17. Do you see? The waters did not part while they were still standing far away. Endlessly observing, the waters parted when obedient feet touched the place I had shown. In the same way, there are openings in your life that will not appear until you step according to my word. You do not need to see the entire road before you begin. You only need to know that the one who calls you is faithful. For the Lord will perfect that which concerns me. Psalm 138:8. I am not bringing you into a season of receiving so that you may store up blessings like someone afraid of lack. What I entrust to you will flow through you. What I open within you will open a way for others. What I heal in you will become fragrant oil poured upon wounds you never knew you would one day touch. Freely you have received. Freely give. Matthew 10:8. You will receive in order to release, not to lock away. You will be filled in order to sow, not to keep everything for yourself. You will stand in authority not to be higher than anyone, but to serve with a purity no longer ruled by the need to be recognized. I will bring beside you those who need the light you have learned to guard, the prayer you have learned in the secret place, and the discernment you have paid for through tears and obedience. Do not be afraid when the responsibility becomes greater, for my grace will also become deeper. Therefore, settle the armor of peace firmly upon your shoulders. Do not put on the armor of your old defensiveness, the kind that made you hard. suspicious, and isolated, put on the armor of light, for the night is far spent, the day is at hand. Therefore, let us cast off the works of darkness, and let us put on the armor of light. Romans 13:12. My peace will be a fortress around your heart. Noise may knock at the gate. Words of doubt may whisper from afar. Old memories may try to call your name, but they no longer have the right to rule the inner sanctuary of your soul. That hidden place belongs to me. There, my voice resounds not loudly but clearly, not coercively but with authority, not making you shrink back, but causing you to stand upright when every other sound competes to pull you away. Return to the place where I speak in stillness. For after the fire came a still small voice, 1 Kings 19:12. And it is in that still small voice that the one who belongs to me recognizes the way they must go. Walk with bright eyes, yet with a heart that remains soft. I do not want discernment to make you a cold person. I want you to shine like a torch in a dark forest, yet remain as tender as good soil, waiting for seed to sprout. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. Matthew 5:8. The pure in heart do not look in order to condemn, but in order to know how to love rightly. You will know when to come near, when to keep distance, when to intercede quietly, and when to speak with gentleness that carries authority. Your wisdom will be like a sail that knows how to receive the wind of the Holy Spirit, neither creating storms for yourself nor missing the current I send. Your feet will be swift, like the feet of a deer upon the mountainside, not because of haste, but because you have learned the lightness of one who no longer carries burdens that do not belong to them. He makes my feet like the feet of deer, and sets me on my high places. Psalm 18:33. I want you to remember Ezekiel when I brought him to the valley full of dry bones. Before his eyes were death, decay, helplessness, things that had lost their form and seemed as though they would never live again. But I did not tell him to weep over that pile of bones. I told him to speak. I said, Son of man, prophesy to these bones. Ezekiel 37:4. And when the word was spoken under my command, bone began to join to bone, sinews and flesh began to cover them, and breath began to return. Do you see? A word sent by me can touch the place that seems dead. It does not only comfort, it awakens. It does not only describe the present condition, it calls my future into the present. Therefore, when I place a word of restoration within you, do not treat it as a passing emotion. Before you may stand only a weary soul, a fractured family, a heavy atmosphere, or a person who has stopped hoping. But my word through you can do what your own strength cannot. You do not merely occupy space, you carry my atmosphere with you. When you enter a room with a surrendered heart, peace is not only within you, but begins to spread around you. When you hold someone's hand to pray, you are not merely showing compassion, you are setting light before dark barriers. When you speak a word of encouragement at the right time, hope can begin to flow again through the veins of a heart that has grown cold. As my son said, you are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. And that word is not a beautiful symbol to hang in memory, but a living commission for every day you still walk upon the earth. Light does not need to ask darkness for permission to shine. It only needs to remain faithful to its nature. And when you abide in me, the light you carry is not boastful, but it has power to make chaos lose its right to rule. Yet, my beloved child, influence is not given so that you may control others. I do not place words in your mouth so that you may use them like a rod to strike the weak places in people. I place words within you so that you may become one who rebuilds, one who lifts up, one who watches over, one who brings clarity into places of confusion. The Lord God has given me the tongue of the learned, that I should know how to speak a word in season to him who is weary. Isaiah 54. Let that verse become a gentle law upon your lips. If you see a fracture in someone, do not rush to name it with severity. Ask me how to pour oil upon it. If you recognize their weakness, do not use discernment to stand above them. Use it to intercede more deeply. If you see a dark place, do not be afraid. And do not become proud. Become a lamp close enough for them to find the way without being burned by condemnation. From now on, I want you to guard your lips as you would guard a small altar. Do not let complaint defile the place I have sanctified. Do not let bitterness borrow your voice to sow more thorns. Do not let weariness cause you to speak things contrary to what I am building. Death and life are in the power of the tongue. Proverbs 18:21. And you are learning to use words as one who understands that every sound can plant a seed. Some seeds will grow into peace. Some seeds will grow into courage. Some seeds will grow into repentance, forgiveness, and return. Let your words be filtered through love, balanced by wisdom, and purified by my presence, so that even when you must speak something strong, the listener can still sense that the purpose behind your words is not to make them collapse, but to call them to rise. So walk forward, my child, with eyes that are bright but not proud, with lips that are sanctified but not hasty, with a silence that knows how to listen and words that know how to heal. Wherever darkness tries to thicken the air, bring into that place the breath of peace. Wherever human hearts are dry and barren, let my word through you become an underground stream. Wherever fractures appear, bring the oil of mercy. You are not the only answer to every pain, but you are an answer I send to the places I have appointed you to touch. And as you remain faithful to the light entrusted to you, you will see rooms begin to change, hearts begin to soften, and paths begin to open, not because you are trying to shine, but because I, the one who is the unfailing light, I am living and speaking through you. My beloved child, when old memories suddenly return, do not quickly think that you are moving backward. There are shadows of yesterday that rise up not to pull you back to the place from which I have brought you out, but to show you how deeply you have been healed. Before, even a small sound from the past was enough to make your heart shrink back, but now, when it passes through your mind, you can place your hand upon your chest and recognize, I am still here. Peace is still here. Light is still here. The Lord is near to those who have a broken heart, and saves such as have a contrite spirit. Psalm 34:18. I do not despise your old broken pieces. I enter them with the gentleness of a father who knows every crack, not to blame you for having once been wounded, but to turn the place that once bled into a place from which pure mercy flows. There were nights when you thought your tears only fell in silence, with no one hearing, no one understanding, and no one close enough to know how your soul had struggled. But my child, not one drop has fallen outside my sight. You number my wanderings, put my tears into your bottle. Psalm 56:8. What people overlook, I remember. What you cannot explain, I hold tenderly. Those tears do not make you weaker in my hands. They become holy water that washes your vision clean, so that you no longer mistake emptiness for love, no longer call manipulation attachment, no longer confuse the one who turns away with the one who has been sent. I use your tears like a quiet stream, watering the dry ground within your heart, so that one day, where there was once only sorrow, wisdom, gentleness, and a very deep light will begin to grow. Therefore, do not be afraid when your heart suddenly remembers those who left. The emptiness they left behind is not proof that you are not valuable enough. It is only a place I am clearing so that my atmosphere may enter. There are people who leave your life not because you have been abandoned, but because I am freeing you from a room too narrow for what I am about to do. There are doors that close not to lock you outside, but to keep you from returning to a place that would continue making your soul small. I have set before you an open door, and no one can shut it. Revelation 3:8. And the door I open does not need the permission of those who once failed to see what I placed within you. When they walked away, I did not leave. When they became silent, my voice remained. When they left behind an empty space, I turned that space into a place where the wind of the Holy Spirit could blow in, stirring again the flame you thought had gone out. Remember Joseph, my child. He was sold by his own brothers, misunderstood, falsely accused, and forgotten in prison. If seen through natural eyes, his life seemed torn apart by betrayal. But I did not allow the hands that harmed him to have the authority to write the final chapter of his story. When the time came, the very place that had once been a tunnel of pain became the corridor, leading him into a position where he would save many people from famine. Later, he said, "You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good." Genesis 50:20. Do you see? What others used to break you, I can use to deepen you. What once made you weep, I can turn into authority. What once made you think you had been rejected, I can use to place you in the right place, in the right season, for the right purpose. I am also changing the garments within you. You have worn the heavy clothing of loss long enough. You have grown accustomed to living cautiously, to walking softly because you were afraid of touching an old wound, to hiding your joy because you thought you were not yet allowed to come alive again. But I say to you that season no longer rules over you. He gives beauty for ashes, the oil of joy for mourning, the garment of praise for the spirit of heaviness. Isaiah 61:3. I do not only dry your tears, I anoint the place that once cried. I do not only lead you out of sorrow, I teach you to walk with the fragrance of one who has been restored. From now on, the life within you is no longer a weak flame, struggling to survive in the wind, but a lamp sheltered by me, filled with oil by me, and placed by me where light is needed. You will find yourself walking more lightly, but not more fragile. You will find your heart becoming softer, but not easier to deceive. You will find that you can love people deeply while still keeping pure boundaries. Remember the past without being possessed by it, and look at the things that once hurt you without bowing your head before them anymore. That is the sign of true healing. They shall rebuild the old ruins. They shall raise up the former desolations. Isaiah 61:4. I am rebuilding within you the places that seemed unable to stand anymore. I am turning desolation into a garden, ashes into fertile soil, memories into lessons, and loss into a doorway for mature mercy. Therefore, when the past knocks at the door, you no longer need to open it and let it become the master of the house again. You can look at it with eyes that I have washed clean and say within your heart, I have learned. I have wept. I have been kept. And I am moving forward. You do not need to deny what happened in order to prove that you are strong. True strength is knowing how to place everything into my hands and not allow what has passed to define the future. Forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forward to those things which are ahead. Philippians 3:14 does not mean pretending you were never hurt. It means the pain is no longer a cord binding your feet. You move forward not because the memory has disappeared, but because its power has been broken in, my light. Go, my beloved child, as one who has survived, but no longer merely survives. Go as one who has been anointed to release fragrance, healed in order to heal, lifted up in order to lift others up. Wherever you go, Do not carry the darkness of what was lost. Carry the fragrance of what I have restored. Your footsteps are no longer the footsteps of one who is running away, but the footsteps of one who has been sent. And when the world looks at you, they may see only an ordinary person, but the spiritual realm recognizes the oil upon you, recognizes the light within you, recognizes that the one who once wept in the night has now stepped into the dawn with a tender heart, bright eyes, and a soul no longer bound by chains. I am with you, and what I have done within you will not be taken back by darkness. My beloved child, listen with the deepest place within your soul. Not everything that stands still has been forgotten, and not every door that has not yet opened is a sign that I have rejected you. There are seasons that appear to be delays before your eyes, yet in my hands they are quiet threads being woven into their proper place. There are silences that make you think I am not speaking, but in truth, within that silence, I am causing your roots to grow deeper, your heart to become softer, your ears to become clearer, and your eyes to become strong enough to behold what, had you seen it too soon, would have overwhelmed you. To everything there is a season, and a time for every purpose under heaven. Ecclesiastes 3:1. Therefore, do not call the season of preparation abandonment, and do not call waiting failure. A farmer does not dig up the seed every day to see whether it has sprouted. He trusts that beneath the silent soil, life is doing its work. In the same way, beneath the days you think are ordinary, I am preparing a blossoming that, when its appointed time comes, no one will be able to deny. There are anxieties you once regarded as annoyances, but I want you to discern this. Not every stirring in the heart comes from fear. At times, it is my very gentle voice awakening you from a spiritual sleep, reminding you that you are no longer to live by old patterns of inertia. Watch and pray, lest you enter into temptation. Matthew 26:41. To be watchful does not mean straining yourself in suspicion, looking at everything with panicked eyes, or living as though danger were everywhere. Watchfulness in Mutsi is peace that remains discerning, tenderness that does not fall asleep, stillness that is not indifferent. Those who know that I am governing the seasons do not need to tremble before change. They recognize that the wind is shifting, but they do not panic, because they know the one who holds the wind is also holding their hand. I am not awakening you to make you afraid. I am awakening you so that you will not miss what I am opening. You are passing through a process I call the unveiling of light. I do not hastily pull back every curtain all at once, because I know your strength. I know your rhythm, and I know which parts must be healed before you can see without breaking. I do not hide the truth in order to manipulate you. I cover part of it until your heart is steady enough to receive it. As it is written, I still have many things to say to you, but you cannot bear them now. John 16:12. Do you see? Even truth must be given according to the timing of love. There were things I did not allow you to recognize before because you were still too quick to blame yourself. There were things I had not yet revealed because you still confused exposure with condemnation. But now, as your heart has been softened by me, as old wounds no longer govern the way you understand everything, I am beginning to lift one layer after another, so that you may look at your life not with fear, but with wisdom born from the light. What I am renewing is not only the circumstances around you, but the lens within you. If you only ask me to change what is outside, while refusing to let me change the way you see, you will still carry an old mind into a new season. Therefore, I am doing a deeper work. I am renewing your thoughts, purifying the way you interpret, and healing the conclusions you once drew from pain. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may discern what is the good, pleasing, and perfect will of God. Romans 12:2. When your mind is renewed, you will no longer see a closed door as humiliation, but will be able to recognize it as protection. You will no longer see someone leaving as proof that you are not good enough, but will be able to see that I am creating space for something healthier. You will no longer allow natural sight to rule your heart, because the light within will teach you to discern what comes from me and what merely has a beautiful appearance but carries no life. Perhaps you have realized that you are no longer as indifferent as before. Certain small words cause your heart to tremble. Certain atmospheres make you pause and seek me in prayer. Certain pains in others you can feel before they even open their mouths. You once thought that sensitivity was weakness, but I say to you, when it is placed under my guidance, it is the refinement of a soul being tuned. Like an instrument before it joins the song, each string must be adjusted, some tightened, some loosened, so that the sound does not stray from the rhythm. Your ears shall hear a word behind you, saying, "This is the way, walk in it." Isaiah 30:21. I am tuning your ears to hear that voice more clearly, tuning your heart so it will not be drowned out by the old noise, tuning your steps so that when the new season begins to resound, you will not walk out of alignment with the rhythm of heaven. Remember Daniel, my child. While he was in Babylon, he lived within a foreign system, amid the pressure to assimilate, amid sounds that sought to pull him away from holiness. Yet he did not allow his circumstances to determine the rhythm of his soul. He still opened his windows toward Jerusalem and prayed, still kept his heart watchful within the palace, still discerned what could be received and what had to be refused. In due season, I gave him understanding to comprehend hidden mysteries that others could not interpret. God gave these 4 young men knowledge and understanding in all kinds of literature and wisdom, and Daniel had understanding in all visions and dreams. Daniel 1:17. Do you see? Spiritual sharpness was not given to make Daniel detached from practical life. It helped him stand firm in a complex environment without losing his identity. In the same way, I am making you discerning enough to live in this world without being swallowed by this world. Therefore, do not blame yourself when you are no longer able to enter every place easily, no longer able to believe every word easily, no longer able to accept the things you once overlooked. That is not the harshness of a closed heart. It may be the sign of a heart being guarded by wisdom. So, always bring that sensitivity back to me, so it does not turn into suspicion, become judgment, or isolate you in the feeling that only you can see. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all. James 1:5. I will teach you when the stirring in your heart is a warning, when it is an invitation to intercede, when it is an old wound that needs to be anointed, and when it is a call to step into something new with courage. My beloved child, this is not a season for you to fall asleep in old habits, but neither is it a season for you to panic over what is still unclear. Be watchful in peace, wait in trust, walk when I speak, and rest when I tell you to stand still. What I am unveiling is not meant to make you heavier, but to free you from illusion. What I am preparing is not meant to delay your destiny, but to ensure that when you enter it, you are deep enough, bright enough, tender enough, and steady enough. He who began a good work in you will bring it to completion. Philippians 1:6. I am not unfinished with you. I have not mistaken your season. I have not forgotten what I promised. Let every silence become soil for your roots to grow. Let every waiting place become where your faith matures. And let every stirring in your heart lead you closer to me. Then you will see that what you once called delay was my hand arranging things. What you once called silence was the place where I was preparing. And what you once called unrest was the holy bell awakening you to step into a new season with clear eyes, a renewed mind, and a soul aligned with the rhythm of heaven. My beloved child, The fire I have placed within you is not a fire that burns down everything it touches, but a holy fire that knows how to separate, refine, and return all things to their true nature. It separates mercy from people-pleasing, so that you no longer use love as a reason to allow what is wrong to keep wounding your soul. It separates honesty from bitterness, so that when you give warning, your words do not carry the scent of revenge, but the fragrance of salvation. It separates courage from impulsiveness, so that you do not remain silent out of fear, and you do not speak merely because you have been provoked. He will sit as a refiner and purifier of silver, Malachi 3:3. And that is the very work I am doing in you, heeding not to destroy, but to remove impurity, so that what is true within you may shine without needing to compete with anyone for the light. Therefore, when you open your mouth, let your words pass through the altar before they pass through your lips. I do not want you to speak merely because you see what is right. I want you to speak when those words have been anointed by love and held in wisdom. There is truth that, if spoken from a wound, becomes an arrow, but if spoken in the Holy Spirit, becomes a scalpel. A scalpel is sharp as well, but it is sharp in order to remove what is poisonous, not to leave the sick in despair. The words of the wise bring healing, Proverbs 12:18. So remember this, the word I place within you may be strong, but it must never lose mercy. It may be clear, but it must never become proud. It may awaken the listener, but it must never crush the dignity of the one whom I am still calling back. There will also be times when I tell you to be silent, and do not regard that silence as defeat. There are battles that, if you answer them, will drag you down into the same level of chaos as others. There are provocations that only wait for you to open the door so they can scatter more dust into your heart. But when you remain still in me, that silence becomes a stronghold, so that schemes can find no place to cling to your soul. In quietness and trust shall be your strength, Isaiah 30:15. You do not need to win every argument to prove that you belong to the light. Sometimes victory is preserving your peace. Sometimes authority is refusing to step into a trap built out of words. Sometimes your strongest voice is a heart that is no longer being controlled. I am raising the lamp within you higher day by day. Each time you intercede, instead of judging, that light expands. Each time you see what is wrong, but do not allow your heart to harden, that light becomes clearer. Each time you recognize a soul hiding behind a shell of sin, disappointment, or pride, and still choose to ask me to touch them, you are acting as one who carries the heart of the kingdom of heaven. Remember, Christ came to seek and to save the lost, Luke 19:10. I do not allow you to see the brokenness of others so that you may despise them. I allow you to see it so that you may know where oil is needed, where prayer is needed, and where gentle yet steadfast light is needed. Some people are only hiding behind thorns because they have once been wounded. You must not embrace the thorns and let yourself be pierced. But do not forget that beneath those thorns, there is still a soul I am able to restore. Remember Esther, my child. She was brought into the palace, but her position was not meant only for her own safety. When my people faced danger, Mordecai reminded her that perhaps she had come to the kingdom for such a time as this, Esther 4:14. Esther did not rush out in haste. She fasted, prayed, waited for the right moment, and then stepped before the king with courage that had been born in the secret place. Do you see? My timing does not require fire alone. It requires watchfulness. It does not require a voice alone. It requires the right moment. It does not require mercy alone. It requires wisdom so that mercy may become deliverance. In the same way, I have placed you in certain rooms, relationships, and circumstances not by accident. There are places where your presence is meant to change the atmosphere. There are people you meet, so that hope may be awakened. There are words you speak at the right time that will open a way of escape where others thought every door had already closed. Do not let the passing days deceive you into thinking you can keep sleeping in the old place of safety. There are seasons in which I patiently prepare for a long time, but when the appointed time comes, you must step forward. Understand the time. The hour has already come for you to wake from sleep. Romans 13:11. What I have pressed through the winepress of sorrow is no longer meaningless bitterness in my hands. It is becoming the new wine of understanding, mercy, and authority. But new wine must not be poured into old wineskins. You cannot carry the new portion with old reactions, old fears, and old ways of protecting yourself. I am giving you a new rhythm of life, watchful without being tense, strong without being harsh, simple without being naive, burning with fire without burning others down. When you stand in the position I have entrusted to you, the unseen realm recognizes that obedience, not because you are great in the eyes of men, but because you are willing to stand exactly where I have placed you. When you speak the word I lift to your lips, heaven bears witness with peace. When you take the hand of a broken person and pray with a heart that does not seek display, my love moves through that simplicity like a holy current, touching places you cannot touch by your own strength, not by might, nor by power, but by my Spirit. Zechariah 4:6. You do not need to make yourself the savior of anyone. I am the Savior, but you can become a hand I use, a voice I anoint, a lamp I set in the midst of darkness that needs light. So walk forward, my beloved child, with a fire that has been refined and a heart that has been softened. Do not let what you see make you hard. Do not let what you know make you proud. Do not let the weight of the moment make you forget that I am still your resting place. Speak when I tell you to speak. Be silent when I tell you to be silent. Move forward when I open the way, and stop when peace withdraws. You are stepping into the portion of life I prepared beforehand, where the light does not only shine for you, but through you shines upon others. And as you remain faithful in each small moment, in every word that has been purified, in every quiet intercession, in every silence that carries authority, you will see that this is not a season of fear, but a season of holy fire, of new wine, of dawn spreading wider, and of a life finally standing in its rightful place within my will. My beloved child, let this settle deep within you like morning dew soaking into thirsty ground. You no longer have to live like someone wandering everywhere, begging for a sign that you are worthy of love, worthy of being heard, worthy of being present. Before any eyes ever looked upon you, I looked upon you with everlasting love. Before any praise or criticism touched your ears, I called you by the name that belongs to me, because you are precious in my sight, honored. And I love you. Isaiah 43:4. Therefore, your worth is not suspended upon the changing hearts of people. It does not rise when others approve of you, nor does it collapse when someone turns away. I have set the foundation of your identity upon rock, not sand, upon my word, not public opinion, upon covenant, not the fleeting emotions of those around you. I have entered the deepest place of your heart and wiped away the layers of shame that once made you see yourself through a distorted mirror. There were times when you thought humility meant making yourself very small, speaking very little, hiding your light carefully, so that no one would be uncomfortable with your presence. But my child, that is not humility that comes from me. That is fear dressed in the clothing of virtue. True humility does not make you disappear. It places you rightly before me. True humility knows that every good thing within you comes from me. Yet it also does not deny what I have sown in you. For we are his workmanship, created in Christ Jesus for good works, Ephesians 2:10. If I myself created you with purpose, you do not need to apologize for existing. If I have lit a lamp within you, you must not cover it with your own hands, merely to please the darkness. Remember Mephibosheth, the son of Jonathan. He once lived in Lodabar, a place whose name carries the meaning of dryness and distance. Like someone who thought his fate was only to remain as the remnant of a lost royal household. He was lame in his feet, carrying within his body the mark of an old tragedy, and perhaps he had grown accustomed to the feeling of being forgotten. But King David called him forward, not to condemn him, but to restore his place because of the covenant with Jonathan. David declared that Mephibosheth would always eat at the king's table. 2 Samuel 9:7. Do you see? The table was not prepared because Mephibosheth proved himself worthy. The table was prepared because covenant spoke on his behalf. In the same way, when I prepare a table for you, you do not need to push and struggle for a seat. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies. You anoint my head with oil, my cup overflows. Psalm 23:5. What I give is not a reward for striving, but a sign of love and choosing that comes from me. Therefore, when you enter a room, do not enter like someone afraid that you are disturbing the atmosphere. Enter like one who carries an anointed peace, not the false peace of someone who avoids every conflict, but the deep peace of one who knows I am present. There are rooms filled with tension that will soften, not because you say many words, but because your soul no longer resonates with chaos. There are hearts clenched tight that will sense a place of rest when you are present. Because the peace I have placed within you is like the fragrance after rain, gentle, yet deeply penetrating. Blessed are the peacemakers, for they shall be called children of God. Matthew 5:9. But understand this rightly. My beloved, making peace does not mean you must sacrifice truth so everyone can remain temporarily comfortable. True peace comes when the rhythm of your heart is aligned with mine, and from that place you bring uprightness, gentleness, and discernment into what is disordered. I also do not want you to continue living under the shadow of the fear of failure. Failure may touch a plan, slow down a journey, or correct a direction, but it has no right to touch the identity I have placed within you. One misstep does not make you rejected. One difficult season does not mean I have left you. One closed door does not prove that the future is over. Though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again. Proverbs 24:16. You do not stand firm because everything is always favorable. You stand firm because your feet are set upon my faithfulness. When the boat of your life at times leans under strong winds, remember that I am still the one who spoke to the sea, saying, "Peace, be still." Mark 5:20. The waves may shake the boat, but they cannot overturn the word I have spoken over your life. From now on, do not shrink yourself in order to preserve a kind of harmony built only upon painful silence. If a relationship is peaceful only when you betray what I have spoken within your heart, that is not peace, but a chain covered with soft cloth. I am teaching you to say no without bitterness, to set boundaries without coldness, and to protect the path I have entrusted to you without needing to over-explain yourself. Above all else, guard your heart, for from it flow the springs of life. Proverbs 4:23. Boundaries are not sharp thorns meant to wound others. Boundaries are fences that keep the garden from being trampled. When you refuse what does not belong to you, that no may ring out like a bell of awakening, not only protecting you, but also reminding other souls that true love never demands that a person lose themselves. And when I tell you to say yes, say it with pure faith, not under the pressure to please anyone. There are certain agreements that will be like small seeds falling into the soil. Today you may not see much, but in the right season, they will bloom. There are acts of obedience that are not loud, that no one recognizes. Yet I see them and place upon them the breath of harvest. Those who sow in tears shall reap with joy. Psalm 126, 5. You do not need to know the entire outcome before you obey. You only need to know which voice is mine. When my voice prompts you, you can step forward even while the ground is still covered in mist. When my peace withdraws, you can stop even if the road before you looks radiant. That is maturity, not being carried away by brilliance, and not being held back by fear. My beloved child, I am clothing you with a new garment, not woven from old self-protection, but woven from peace, wisdom, and assurance. You are no longer the one standing outside the banquet looking in, no longer the one who must prove that you are worthy to be called by name, no longer the one bowing your head before every changing gaze. I have anointed your head, and your cup is not full for you alone. It will overflow to refresh the dry and weary ones I place around your life. Walk gently, yet firmly. Say no when what is holy must be guarded. Say yes when I open the way. Keep your heart tender without being weak, bright without becoming proud, peaceful without compromising, for I am with you. And wherever I have reserved a place for you, no fear has the right to pull that chair out of my hand. My beloved child, let this promise not merely remain in your memory as a familiar verse of Scripture, but let it become the deepest breath of your life. Behold, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. Matthew 28:20. I did not give this word as an ornament for you to wear outwardly on the days when your heart is weak. I gave it as a living stream within you, like new blood flowing through your soul, like a quiet rhythm of peace upholding you when everything outside begins to change. When you wake, I am with you. When you step into a new day without knowing what awaits, I am with you. When you must face rooms filled with pressure, eyes that are difficult to understand, and responsibilities that make your shoulders heavy, I am still with you. My presence does not come and go according to your emotions. It does not fade when you are tired, nor does it depart when you do not yet feel strong. I am with you because I have chosen to be with you, and the word I have spoken cannot be shaken by the weather of human hearts. From now on, do not walk as one who carries only your own strength. The life I have placed within you is not a fragile flame that you must forever shield with your hands. It is a light sustained by my Spirit. For in him we live and move and have our being. Acts 17:28. So every breath you take can become a prayer, and every heartbeat can become a response to my faithfulness. When you place your hands upon the ordinary work of the day, my light can move through that small faithfulness. When you speak a gentle word at the right time, my life can soothe a heart stretched tight like the string of an instrument. When you step into a place that seems ordinary, you do not bring only your body there. You bring an inner life that has been touched by me, an atmosphere that has been purified by me, and a mark that does not need to be displayed for the spiritual realm to recognize it. Do not regard daily life as something separate from your calling. I do not meet you only in the hour of prayer, in the holy place, or in the moments when you feel deeply moved. I am also present in the family meal, where you choose gentleness instead of harshness, in the conversation at work, where you choose integrity instead of yielding to what is wrong, in the meeting with friends, where you choose to listen with mercy instead of rushing to judge. Whether you eat or drink, or whatever you do, do all to the glory of God. 1 Corinthians 10:31. Do you see? When your heart belongs to me, no moment is too ordinary to become a place through which light may pass. A pure smile, a sincere question, A silence that knows how to preserve peace can also become the fragrance of the kingdom of heaven among weary people who do not even know how to name the thirst within them. I want you to remember the house of Obed-Edom, a small story that carries a great sign. When the ark of my covenant was placed in his house, Scripture says that the Lord blessed Obed-Edom and all his household, 2 Samuel 6:11. Reflect on this. My child, my presence does not only affect the temple or the battlefield. When it is received rightly, it transforms a home, a living space, and the flow of a family line. In the same way, when you carry my presence in your heart, you do not need to strain to create influence. Nearness to me carries its own fragrance. Wherever you are present in obedience, that place can be touched by peace. Not because you are special according to the measurements of the world, but because I am dwelling in you, and where I dwell, darkness no longer has full authority to define the atmosphere. Therefore, do not return to the old way of living, where you had to measure other people's expressions to decide whether you were allowed to be at peace. You are no longer a small boat tossed back and forth by the emotions of those around you. You do not need to take on every story, every tension, every anxiety as though it were your duty. I have taught you to love, but I have also taught you to discern. I have taught you to serve, but I have also taught you to guard your heart. The peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds. Philippians 4:7. That peace is not fragile, like a layer of mist driven away by the sun. It is a watchman standing at the gate of your heart, helping you know what may enter, what must remain outside, and what must be handed back to me instead of carried on your shoulders. From now on, love within you will no longer be the exhausting effort of a soul trying to be kept. I am causing that love to flow from a place that has been healed, from a spring no longer clouded by bitterness and shame. Whoever believes in me, rivers of living water will flow from within him. John 7:38. You will no longer give in order to purchase recognition, no longer serve in order to fill an emptiness, no longer sacrifice silently and then ache because no one noticed. You will love because you have been loved. You will serve because you have been set free. You will lift others up, not from exhaustion, but from the abundance I pour into you in the secret place. When the source has been cleansed by me, the stream that flows out also carries purity. When the heart has been anointed by me, your good works no longer carry the scent of compulsion, but the fragrance of freedom. My child, this generation needs witnesses who do not merely speak about the light, but live as those who have been rescued by the light from a long night. For we are the fragrance of Christ to God, 2 Corinthians 2:15. That fragrance is not an outward appearance of piety, but the mark of a life that has truly allowed me to heal it. When you no longer reflect the dim image of others, you begin to release the imprint I have placed uniquely upon you. You do not need to imitate anyone else's journey. Do not need to live according to the pattern built by fear, and do not need to shrink your calling in order to be more easily accepted. I have sealed you with love, with truth, with seasons of tears that have been redeemed, and with a peace that no power can counterfeit. Step out, my beloved child, not as one who boasts in yourself, but as one who knows you have been sent. Step into familiar scenes with a new posture. The heavens above you have opened. Your heart has been cleansed, and your feet have been placed upon the path I have illuminated. People may not immediately recognize what I am doing through you, but darkness will recognize the light, and thirsty souls will sense the coolness of refreshment. Do not fear ordinary days, for in ordinary days I will reveal extraordinary faithfulness. Do not fear tense rooms, for my peace within you can open a wide space of heaven. Do not fear the responsibilities ahead, for the one who promised to be with you until the end of the age will also go before you step by step. Live as my clear seal in this world, tender yet not subdued, radiant yet not proud, free yet full of love, and steadfast in one truth that never changes. I am with you, and wherever I am with you, light has already begun to overcome. My beloved child, let your heart rest in this truth. You did not enter life to beg for a seat, nor do you stand among others to prove that you are worthy to be seen. Before you knew how to name yourself, I called you by love. Before anyone placed a standard upon your life, I placed purpose within your soul. Therefore, when I say, I have prepared a table before you in the presence of your enemies, I anoint your head with oil, your cup overflows. Psalm 23:5. Understand that this table was not raised up by your striving, nor can it be moved away by the opposition of others. What I have prepared for you does not require permission from the eyes that once underestimated you. Your seat in my intention is not a reward for exhausting yourself to satisfy everyone, but a sign of covenant, of choosing, and of my hand placed upon your life from the beginning. Therefore, when you enter a room, do not enter as one who must draw your shoulders inward to ask for a fragile peace, nor should you enter with the loud pride of one who wants to prove themselves above others. Enter with the gentle steadiness of one who knows they have been sent by me. The peace I have placed within you is not a thin garment covering fear. It is gentle authority, the fragrance of the kingdom of heaven. A deep stillness that makes chaos no longer able to rule the atmosphere around you so easily. Let the peace of Christ rule in your hearts, Colossians 3:15. And when that peace truly rules within your heart, you are no longer controlled by the expressions, words, or unstable emotions of others. You can listen without being swept away, love without losing yourself, and be present without becoming a prisoner of the atmosphere around you. Do not let the fear of making mistakes paralyze your feet. I do not tell you to step forward because you already know every turn in the road, but because you know that the one who is leading you is faithful. There will be times when your plans meet waves. There will be times when what you thought was certain must be adjusted. There will be times when an unexpected wind makes you feel your boat tilting. But my child, I am not standing on the shore watching you struggle alone. I am with you in the journey. When the disciples panicked in the midst of the stormy sea, my son rose and spoke to the wind and the waves, saying, "Peace, be still." Mark 5:13. And everything had to become quiet before his voice. Therefore, if waves rise around your plans, do not quickly conclude that you have lost your way. There are waves that come only so you may know more clearly who holds authority over your journey. I want the love within you from now on to no longer flow out of the fear of being abandoned. Love born from wounds often bows its head, begs to be kept, endures what is wrong, and then calls it sacrifice. But healed love stands upright in the truth. It is not cold, yet it does not beg. It does not count every response, yet it does not allow itself to be used like a bottomless vessel. Love never fails, 1 Corinthians 13:8. But true love never has to betray truth in order to survive. I am teaching you to love from a place that has been filled, not from a place that is empty and drained. When you love in this way, you will no longer cling tightly to others out of fear that they will leave. You will place them in my hands, and that very freedom will make your love pure. When you serve as one who has been freed from the need to be credited. There were seasons when you did much, gave much, endured much, yet inwardly ached because no one noticed. I saw it all, my beloved child, but now I am bringing you out of service that is mixed with shame. I want your hands to open from abundance. not from lack. I want your heart to give out of joy, not out of fear of losing your place in someone's heart. Whatever you do, work at it with all your heart, as working for the Lord and not for men. Colossians 3:23. When you serve million, the ingratitude of others no longer has enough power to make you bitter. You know that your reward is not found in applause, but in my eyes looking upon you with hidden delight. Therefore, live from the position of authority that has been entrusted to you. Your authority is not a voice louder than others, but a deeper union with me. When you say no in order to guard the path I have given you, that is not hardness, but faithfulness. When you say yes because you hear my voice inviting you, that is not recklessness, but faith. Your word is a lamp to my feet and a light to my path. Psalm 119, 105. And that light does not only illuminate great roads, but also the small choices of each day. You do not need to run everywhere, searching for signs to legitimize your anxiety. Stay near me. Listen to me, and you will know when to step forward, when to stop, when to open your hands, and when to close a door in peace. Do not underestimate the moments when you stand still in me. A flower does not need to make noise when it blooms, yet its fragrance still changes the entire garden. In the same way, you do not need to be loud in order to prove that you carry light. A soul that remains near me will naturally release what cannot be counterfeited. Whoever abides in me, and I in him, bears much fruit. John 15:5. Fruit does not grow by display, but by abiding. If you abide in me, your eyes will be bright without becoming coldly sharp. Your words will carry weight without becoming harsh. Your silence will hold peace without being timid. And your presence will become a quiet testimony to those who are weary from the darkness. My beloved child, I will keep oil in your lamp. When the night of this generation tries to cover human hearts with doubt, fear, and confusion, the light within you will remind them that grace is still present, not because you are perfect, but because you are near me, not because you create glory by yourself, but because you allow me to live through you. Walk as one who has been healed. Serve as one who has been set free. Love as one who has been filled. And stand firm as one who knows the hand of the Father is resting upon your shoulder. I am with you in the secret place and in the crowd, in silence and in speech, at dawn and even at dusk, and wherever you live near me. Light does not need to ask darkness for permission to arise. My beloved child, I know there are times when your soul is so sensitive that even a quiet room feels full of echoes. You step into a place, and before anyone has finished a sentence, your heart has already sensed the hidden currents beneath it, a sorrow being concealed, a tension that has not yet been named, a motive not entirely pure, a quiet weariness hanging in the air. I know that this sometimes exhausts you. You do not only hear with your ears, you also feel with a deeper layer of your soul. You do not only look at faces, you also recognize the waves behind the eyes. But my child, do not regard that sensitivity as a sentence of loneliness. What I am awakening within you is not meant to crush you beneath the weight of what you perceive, but to teach you how to bring every awareness back into my arms. Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest. Matthew 11:28. That word is not only for those who carry visible burdens, it is also for you, the one who carries invisible burdens that not everyone understands. Therefore, when a revelation comes, do not hastily embrace it as a responsibility you must solve by yourself. See it as an invitation to draw nearer. I allow you to see, not so that you will strain yourself in analysis. I allow you to see so that you will know what must be laid down before me. I open a deeper layer, not so that you will fall into anxiety. I open it so that you may learn to trust more deeply. I allow you to recognize what is hidden, not so that you will distance yourself from people, but so that you may love with wisdom, intercede with watchfulness, and walk in peace. Cast all your anxiety on him, because he cares for you. 1 Peter 5:7. You were not created to become a storage place for everyone else's heaviness. You are a channel, not a stagnant poem. Whatever passes through you must be led back to me. Otherwise, even a gift can become a burden. I want you to learn this holy rhythm. See, then surrender. Hear, then pray. Perceive, then rest. That is how your soul keeps its balance between sharpness and tenderness. If you are only sharp without resting in me, you will easily grow weary and become guarded. If you are only tender without discernment, you will easily be drawn into storms that do not belong to you. But when you abide in me, your eyes can be clear without being harsh. Your heart can be soft without being fragile. And your words can be direct without causing needless wounds. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. That is the fragrance of discernment that comes from me, bright, clean, ordered, and always turned toward life. Remember Elijah, the one who saw fire fall from heaven, who stood before the power of darkness, who experienced my mighty intervention, and yet also came to a moment of exhaustion beneath the broom tree in the wilderness. He was not only tired because the road had been long, he was tired because his soul had passed through too many battles. And I did not come to accuse him for being weak. I sent an angel with bread and water, so that he could eat, rest, and then receive strength to continue his journey. 1 Kings 19:5-8. Do you see? Even the one who carries fire needs to be nourished in rest. Even the one who hears my voice needs moments to lay his head beneath my shade. I do not demand that you always be strong. I do not regard your weariness as failure. I only invite you not to run from me when you are tired, but to lean upon me, so that my presence may become bread, water, and shelter for your soul. When you return to your family, step into your workplace, or sit among friends, do not fear that your sensitivity will drain you. If you go alone, yes, you will grow tired, but if you go in me, the light you carry will not burn you out, but will warm the space around you. There are people who do not need you to explain at length. They only need to encounter a soul healed enough not to react according to chaos. There are rooms where you do not need to raise your voice. You only need to hold your peace, and the atmosphere will already begin to change. You are the light of the world, Matthew 5:14. But my light within you is not a blinding light meant to shame others. It is the light of dawn, gentle enough to call the weary awake, and true enough to make darkness unable to keep pretending to be a shelter. You will love differently, because the love within you no longer flows from an unhealed wound. You will no longer love like someone afraid of being left behind. No longer strive to please everyone in order to keep a place in their hearts. No longer turn sacrifice into a cord that binds you. I have bandaged you, and from that healed place, you can love while still keeping boundaries. Forgive while still moving forward. Show mercy without handing yourself over to what destroys. You will serve differently, because your hands are no longer chained by shame or by the need to be recognized. Each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve one another. As faithful stewards of God's grace, 1 Peter 4:10. You serve not to purchase love, but because you have already been loved, not to prove that you have value. but because that value has already been sealed within you by me. And when you listen, your silence will also be sanctified. In the past, you may have been silent because you were afraid, because you did not know what to say, because you wanted to avoid conflict. But I am teaching you another kind of silence. Silence to listen more deeply. Silence so you do not answer chaos with chaos. Silence so your heart can discern what is my voice and what is only the noise of old pain. Then, when you speak, your words will not come from a hasty reaction, but from a place that has absorbed the fragrance of truth. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver, Proverbs 25:11. You do not need to say much in order to have influence. One word spoken at the right time, born from peace, can unlock a heart that has long been closed. My beloved child, you are not a faded copy of anyone. I did not create you to live in another person's shadow, nor did I call you to repeat someone else's journey. You are a distinct signature I have placed in this generation, a mark of grace, a witness that when I open a person's inner life, I also open the way for that person to step into the portion of destiny that has been prepared. He who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion until the day of Christ Jesus, Philippians 1. Laugh. Therefore, do not fear the process. Do not fear the days when you see more than you wanted to see. Do not fear the nights when your heart feels heavy, because it senses what no one has spoken aloud. I do not leave you alone in revelation. I am the one who opens your eyes, and I am also the one who guards your heart. I am the one who allows you to hear deeply, and I am also the one who teaches you to rest. If another night comes, and you feel your shoulders growing heavy because of invisible things, return beneath my shadow, breathe slowly, call upon my name, and let every wave within you grow quiet before the eternal rock. He makes me lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. Psalm 23:2. I will be the wide tree that shelters you from the heat of feeling too much. I will be the cool stream that washes from you the dust of tense rooms. I will be the song before dawn, reminding you that you are not only allowed to see, but also kept, not only allowed to be touched, but also healed, not only called to carry light, but also permitted to rest in the arms of the one who is the very source of light. Go on, my child, with eyes no longer wet with the dew of fear, with a heart that is tender yet steady, with a clear light that does not come from your striving, but from your remaining truly near to me. My beloved child, there will come a day when you suddenly realize that you no longer live by the hurried reactions of the surface. In the past, a single word could shake you. A single glance could make you blame yourself. A tense atmosphere could pull you into another person's whirlwind. But now, I am teaching you to stand deeper within your soul. You no longer merely hear the sounds that come from people's mouths. You begin to recognize what is hidden beneath those sounds. You no longer look at a room only with natural eyes. You can sense the current within it, knowing where true peace is present and where silence is merely covering chaos that has not yet been healed. This is not the weakness of an overly sensitive heart, nor is it the suspicion of a mind that has been wounded. When placed in my hands, it is holy watchfulness, the lamp I have lit within you, so that you do not walk through life with sleeping eyes. The spirit of man is the lamp of the Lord, searching all the innermost parts of the heart. Proverbs 20:27. I do not want you to live only according to what people present outwardly. I want you to know how to follow the inner light I have placed within you to guide the way. There are words that sound very gentle, yet your soul finds no place of rest in them. There are smiles that look very beautiful, yet behind them there is a cold emptiness. There are invitations that appear to be opportunities, yet when you draw near, the peace within you quietly withdraws. Do not take these movements lightly. I am not teaching you to live in suspicion. I am teaching you to live with discernment. Suspicion looks at everyone through the lens of fear, but discernment looks at all things in my light. Suspicion causes you to close your heart, but discernment helps you know which door to open, which door to close, how to love rightly, and when to leave rightly. Find out what pleases the Lord. Ephesians 5:10. You do not need to explain everything immediately, nor do you need to force yourself to believe something simply because its outward appearance seems fine. If there is no inner witness of peace within you, slow down. If your heart is being drawn toward prayer rather than a rushed decision, listen. There are warnings from me that come very gently, but it is precisely that gentleness that has kept you from very great wounds. I want you to understand this clearly. Opened eyes do not give you the right to condemn people, but entrust you with the responsibility to walk on the right path. When I allow you to see an impure motive, it is not so you may stand above others, but so you do not hand your soul over to a place that does not know how to guard it. When I allow you to recognize hypocrisy, it is not so you may become cold, but so you will not be deceived by a beautiful garment placed over what is wrong. When I allow you to feel that a space lacks peace, it is not so you will run away from every difficult place, but so you will know to ask me, does this place need you to remain and intercede, or does it require you to leave in peace? The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits. James 3:17. If what you call awareness makes you proud, bitter, or eager to expose others, bring it back before me to be purified. But if it makes you more humble, deeper in prayer, and wiser in love, then you are learning to see by my light. Remember King Solomon when he had just stepped into the responsibility of governing the people. He did not ask for fame, wealth, or power to dominate others. He asked for a listening heart, able to discern between good and evil, so he could govern my people righteously. And I was pleased with that request, giving him wisdom beyond what human beings could create by themselves. 1 Kings 3:9-12. Later, when two women came disputing over a child, the surface of the story was full of weeping, arguing, and opposing claims. If one listened only with natural ears, it would be easy to get lost in the chaos. But Solomon discerned the true love of the true mother, not through the loudness of words, but through the life hidden in the reaction of the heart. Do you see? The wisdom I give is not meant to display sharpness, but to protect life. In the same way, I am teaching you to recognize what carries life and what merely makes noise, what comes from love and what is covered with pleasant words while lacking truth within. In this season, you will distinguish more clearly between true peace and false quietness. True peace does not necessarily mean everything outwardly is favorable. True peace is when you still stand firm, because you know I am with you. False quietness, however, may look very calm, but beneath it are avoidance, compromise, fear, and things that have not yet been brought into the light. Remember the word my son spoke, peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. John 14:27. The peace of the world often requires external conditions to be comfortable. My peace can reign even in a complex room, in a difficult decision, on a road that does not yet have all the answers. My peace does not lull you to sleep. It makes you awake. It does not tell you to ignore the truth. It gives you the strength to face the truth without losing tenderness. Do not be afraid when you are no longer easily carried away by the things that once persuaded you. That does not mean you are becoming unapproachable. It means you are being kept. Do not be afraid when certain places no longer fit your soul. Perhaps I am bringing you out of an old level of living and into a place that requires deeper purity. Do not be afraid when you sense more than others, only do not carry it all by yourself. Whenever you see something, bring it to me. Whenever you do not understand, ask me. Whenever your heart grows heavy, lay it down before me. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who gives generously to all. James 1:5. I never open your eyes and then abandon you among those depths. I am the one who opens eyes, and I am also the one who guards hearts. I am the one who gives you awareness, and I am also the one who teaches you how to carry that awareness in peace. So, my beloved child, walk with clear eyes, but do not let your heart become hard. Let discernment make you freer, not more distant. Let it teach you to love more rightly, not more coldly. Let it help you choose the path of light, not become proud. You do not need to speak out everything you perceive. There are things that only need prayer. There are things that only require a quiet withdrawal. There are things that need to be spoken with gentleness at the right time. There are things that must be handed over completely to me. When you live this way, the light within you will not burn others with condemnation, but will invite them out of darkness through truth and mercy. This is the mark of those whom I awaken. They see clearly without losing love. They know deeply without becoming proud. They walk in the midst of the world without allowing the world to blind their eyes. Keep going, my child. True peace will act as the referee in your heart. Wisdom will guard your steps, and the light I have placed within you will show you which way to go in the season opening before you. My beloved child, a very deep work is taking place within you, deeper than what your eyes can see and quieter than what your ears can hear. I am not only changing the circumstances around you, I am changing the voice inside you. In the past, there were old sounds that remained in your heart for too long. The voice of self-blame, the voice of fear, the voice that repeated your mistakes, the voice that made you think you were always lacking, always late, always not good enough to be loved. But today, I am stepping into that deep place with my truth, not like a storm that forces its way in, but like dawn seeping through the cracks of a darkened door. Light does not need to argue with darkness. It only needs to be present, and darkness must retreat. My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me. John 10:27. So I am teaching your soul to recognize my voice among all the noise that once caused you to lose your way. My voice does not crush you. My voice does not make you shrink. My voice does not call you by your failures. My voice calls you by love, by covenant, by the identity I placed upon you before you even knew who you were. There will be times when it feels strange that your heart no longer reacts the way it once did. An old memory returns, but it no longer has enough power to tighten your chest. An accusation echoes, but your soul begins to recognize that it is not the voice of the Father. A fear tries to pull you back into the land of shame, but within you there rises a gentle confirmation saying, "You belong to me." For you did not receive the spirit of bondage again to fear, but you received the spirit of adoption, by whom we cry out, "Abba, Father." Romans 8:15. Do you see? I do not only want you to know in your mind that you are my child. I want that truth to descend into the deepest place within you, the place where doubt once built its nest, where shame once shut the door, where the words of others once defined you wrongly. And when that truth takes root, the burdens of self-blame will begin to fall away, not because you are forcing yourself to let go, but because they no longer have soil in which to cling. I want you to remember Joshua the high priest in Zechariah's vision. He stood before my angel, while the accuser stood at his right hand to oppose him. His garments were filthy, like an image of defilement, shame, and the very things that could be used to condemn him. But I did not allow the voice of accusation to have the final word. I said, "Take away the filthy garments from him," and then declared, "I have removed your iniquity from you, and I will clothe you with rich robes." Zechariah 3. Sec. My child, that is my heart toward you. I do not call you near in order to rehearse every old stain and leave you standing in disgrace. I call you near in order to change your garments. I do not expose in order to destroy. I expose in order to heal. I do not bring up the darkness to keep you in the past. I bring light into it so that the past no longer has the right to clothe you. Therefore, when I draw near, do not shrink back as though I have come to judge you with coldness. Draw near to God, and he will draw near to you. James 4:8. And my nearness is not the shadow of condemnation, but the embrace of restoration. I come to reestablish what has been distorted within you. I come to remind you that a mistake may be a chapter, but it is not your name. I come to tell you that delay does not mean rejection. Silence does not mean you have been forgotten. And a door that is not yet open does not mean my love has changed. I have loved you with an everlasting love. Jeremiah 31:3. What is everlasting is not destroyed by a season of tears. What I have placed upon you is not taken away simply because you once passed through days of weakness. You have never fallen out of my hand. There were only moments when you forgot that my hand was still holding you. Let me take you deeper. But do not fear that depth. There are layers within you that I will continue to touch. Not because you are not good enough, but because I love you too much to let you live beneath the freedom I purchased for you. There are thoughts I will replace. There are reflexes I will soften. There are fears I will uproot with truth. There are inner voices that once disguised themselves as caution but were really chains, and I will silence them in their place. You will hear another voice, not noisy, but full of authority, not forceful, but full of life. You are my child, and I have not changed my mind about you. I have called you by your name. You are mine. Isaiah 43:1. That word will become an anchor in the storm, a lamp in the long corridor, a hand resting upon your shoulder when you must step into new places. So rest. My beloved child, what is not yet opened is not against you. It is waiting for the right time. What is being unveiled is not meant to frighten you. It is leading you into truth. What I am changing within you is not meant to turn you into a strange and unfamiliar person, but to bring you back to the true self I wrote from the beginning. Draw near to me, and let me draw near to you. Let my voice replace the voice of accusation. Let my love replace shame. Let my truth become the foundation beneath your feet. Then you will step into the new season not as one begging for mercy one more time, but as one who has finally realized that you have always been in the Father's arms, always called by the name beloved child, and always led by the one who never breaks his promise. My beloved child, understand that the restoration I am doing within you is not merely the healing of a few wounds, nor is it only helping you get through heavy days. I am restoring order within you, so that what was once disordered by fear, shame, and self-blame may return under the authority of my peace. When that order is restored, everything within you begins to carry a different weight. Your words are no longer merely rushed reactions of emotion, but become water filtered through my presence. Your silence is no longer the emptiness of helplessness, but a hidden room where peace stands guard. Your steps no longer wander like someone searching for a place to belong, but move with the awareness that I am with you. If anyone is in Christ, he is a new creation. Old things have passed away. Behold, all things have become new. 2 Corinthians 5:17. That newness does not only appear in what you do, but in the very atmosphere you carry. Therefore, do not be surprised when there are places you enter and the tension suddenly softens. Not because you are trying to control anything, but because my presence within you has become clearer. Do not be surprised when a word you speak at the right time causes someone to pause, to weep, to soften, or to remember something they had once forgotten. That is not power coming from your personality, nor is it because you have lifted yourself up. I am the source. You are only a vessel that has been washed clean so that the oil may flow through. But we have this treasure in earthen vessels, that the excellence of the power may be of God and not of us. 2 Corinthians 4:7. I do not need you to be perfect in order to use you. I need you to remain near me, tender before me, and faithful to what I have placed within you. In the same way, the seal upon you is not the seal of a life without blemish. It is the seal of grace that has entered the place of brokenness and set everything back in order. There were years you thought were completely lost, opportunities you believed had passed far beyond reach, and places within your heart you thought could never become green again. But I am the one who says, I will restore to you the years that the locust has eaten, the crawling locust, the consuming locust, and the chewing locust. Joel 2:25. Understand that this word does not only mean I return time in the way you imagine, I also cause the years touched by pain to become testimony. I do not merely give back what was lost, I rewrite its meaning. I turn the place that was once empty into a place filled with grace, and the place that was once cracked into a pathway through which light can pass. Therefore, when you open your mouth, speak as one who knows your lips have been guarded. Not every word that rises in your mind needs to be spoken, but the word I place within your heart will carry the flavor of life. A word fitly spoken is like apples of gold in settings of silver. Proverbs 25:11. There will be times when I use you to encourage, times to awaken, and times to call a soul back from the edge of the abyss. But whether that word is strong or gentle, let love be its foundation and wisdom its rhythm. I do not anoint your word so that others may tremble before you, but so that they may recognize the truth without being crushed by despair. Truth that comes from me always opens a door of return, even when it must touch the most painful place. And when I tell you to be silent, know that such silence also has its ministry. There is the silence of one who has been oppressed, but there is also the silence of one who has been established in peace. When you do not answer provocation, when you do not enter an argument merely to defend the ego, when you do not throw words into places where there is no good soil, you are guarding the holiness of what I have placed within you. Whoever guards his mouth and tongue keeps his soul from troubles. Proverbs 21:23. Silence led by me is not weak. It is like the surface of a deep lake, calm above, yet holding the strength of all its waters beneath. My beloved child, I do not call you one who is trying to create strength for yourself in the dark. I call you one who is learning to stand firm in the strength that has already been given. When I said to Joshua, "Be strong and courageous, for the Lord your God is with you wherever you go," Joshua 1:9. I was not telling him to rely on his natural bravery. I was reminding him that true courage comes from my companionship. So it is with you. You do not need to force yourself to become hard in order to prove that you have been healed. Your strength is not found in never trembling, but in knowing that I am still holding your hand when you must keep walking. From now on, you will live less from the need to be affirmed by people, and more from the affirmation that has already resounded in me. You no longer have to enter every room measuring whether others accept you. You no longer have to use achievements, service, or sacrifice to purchase the feeling that you have value. The Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirit that we are children of God. Romans 8:16. When that witness is within you, The noise outside gradually loses its right to rule. You can serve without begging to be recognized, love without losing yourself, and stand firm without needing to make anyone smaller so you can feel greater. Walk on, my child, as one who has been restored into the order of grace. Let your words be clear like spring water, your silence deep like shade, and your steps steady like one who knows that light goes before the path. I am not making you the center of glory. I am making you a place through which glory may pass. And the nearer you remain to me, the more naturally that presence will radiate from you without noise, without strain, without needing display. People may not understand why their hearts feel lighter when they are near you, why they are encouraged by a word you speak, or why the atmosphere softens when you hold your peace. But I know, and you will know as well. This is the mark of restoration, not that you have made yourself strong, but that I have rebuilt you, anointed you, and sent you forth as a living witness that grace can rewrite everything that was once thrown out of order.